So Gwen, you've been the director and the head of commercial property since 2018. What kind of people do you work with?
We work with anyone and everyone if they've got a commercial property. It can be anything from shop owners, bar owners, restaurants, down to petrol stations, care homes, nursery.
Real mix then, isn't it?
Yes, real mix, and no 2 days are the same. One day you could be dealing with helping somebody set up, which is always really exciting because people have got fabulous ideas and it's really nice to be able to support them. You know, we help them with their leases maybe because they can't afford to buy a shop or can't afford to buy premises. So it's just guiding them and helping them through all the terms in that respect. It could be somebody who's been in business for 40 years, looking now to get out, who wants to sell family business, wants to sell the property, doesn't want to pass it on to family, or family members don't want to deal with it, deal with all of that side. We also do anything finance-wise, because you'd be amazed the amount of people who've got brilliant ideas or who want to do things and just don't know where to go. Yes. So it's dealing with maybe banks, acting for the banks, because if you haven't done it before, you may not know that what you've got to do. Simple things like making sure you've got your bank statements in place, making sure that if you've got all of those checks behind you so that you can go and get the finance, you can go and buy your premises. On the flip side, after the last 18 months, 2 years, whatever nonsense we're in now. Yes, whenever we were last normal. In this time, as you can imagine, a lot of people have reevaluated. Some maybe thought about, I don't want to do this anymore, or there's something I've always wanted to get. Exactly, you may not be able to afford it. How do I get out? So we can advise on the negative side as well as the positive side. If you may be that you can't carry on with a lease because you can't afford it.
And what happens then?
Yeah.
So with that, like with all those different, no 2 days ever the same, do you think there's a right time for somebody to get in touch? Or is it a case of just maybe it's a feeling of like, I think I need some help here?
It would be a case of always get in touch. Even if you think you're at the very start and you've just got an idea, it's always good to speak to somebody, because we will ask the questions that you may not have thought of. We will give you that worst case scenario. We will say to you, yes, you've got a brilliant idea, but at the minute, have you thought about how you're going to fund it? Have you thought about, have you got enough money to staff it? How can you do this in your premises? So we will ask those questions of you in initial conversation.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because I suppose you build up a real relationship with people over time. And I think the way I say it is, you're on our side.
Yeah.
Like you're like a really handy soundboard. What about that? Like, would you say that relationship? How would you describe it? I suppose with clients,
it becomes a family.
Yeah.
I and the team, we become that person that they tell their deepest, darkest secrets to, whether it's with the business or we're just there to support them. They know that they will get obviously excellent legal advice. We're experts, we're specialists. We'll give them the technicalities and we'll make sure that their business, their interest, their property is protected. But we're more than that, in that we will support them. That we will be there when things don't quite go right. We'll be there when things are going swimmingly. And we will tell them, and I will tell people in particular that I've known for 10 years now, why are you doing this? This may not be the best business decision for you. And I think you build that trust up in not only providing the expert advice, but in also being totally honest with your clients, whether that's good news, bad news. I don't think you should be doing this. Have you thought about what could go wrong? As well as going, yeah, that's brilliant, let's get it done for you.
And in terms of kind of how long things take, we're all wanting in a rush nowadays, aren't we?
We all want it yesterday.
Yeah, we all want it yesterday. What do you think, what are the most common frustrations you find in terms of speed? And what do you think you do or could do to sort of speed up that process? Yes,
no, you're right. Everybody wants everything done, and everybody wants everything done to their timescale, which sometimes doesn't quite work, or it can't happen that way. I think communication is the key. If you tell somebody that, that something's not going to get done today, then people...
As long as they know, and then...
Yes. But we communicate in all different ways. It's not just the case now of picking up the phone. I've got 3 phones. I've got a landline and 2 mobiles. So sometimes people can't get a hold of me straight away, and you get some people that will be frustrated by that.
Yeah.
So we'll text. We'll send a message to say, on the phone right now, everything's okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We will WhatsApp, we will email.
And I think, yeah, especially for me, like, when you are dealing with like a lease and you want to find out what's going through, or when you are, something really important, just to know that person's received your message and that, you're on their radar.
Yeah.
I think must be. Is there anything else that frustrates clients that, maybe you try and overcome, or that you're always really mindful of?
Nobody likes being told that what they want cannot happen, or it's not going to happen quite as they want it. Sometimes deals and transactions always become more complicated. It may be, I'll give you an example, you're taking on a lease of a building, you thought that you could use it for one particular use, you can't. You've then got to apply for planning permission.
Yeah.
That's
and the delays that come with that.
The cost.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you've got to document that. That's a document you never thought of. Another problem could be there's asbestos in the roof. Until we investigate and we find that out, we don't know what that cost is going to be. Having a report, having to have that carried out, who pays for it. All of that can be problematic. And if you're telling somebody of either this building is it's riddled, it's got problems, it's got issues left, right and centre, that can frustrate people. And you can see them totting up costs in their head and then going, well, how much are you going to charge me?
Yeah.
And it's never a nice conversation to have. But you always hope, because you're advising them and because you're giving them worst case scenario, you know what you're getting yourself into. And you wouldn't expect somebody to come out and fix your boiler and then tell you, oh no, it's broken, but you're not going to get charged for it, or if you expect that advice, you expect to pay for the service.
Absolutely. And I think, I suppose, like that honesty and that, that transparency about kind of, this might not go swimmingly, or this might, I think that's probably one of the big things clients appreciate about working with you guys. Do you reckon, what else would you say, in your experience, what do you find that clients really appreciate?
I think that we get on with their teams. A lot of the work that we do, it's not just them as an individual, it may be their employees, their accountant, their estate agents, of the brokers, everybody. And it's having them knowing as well that we not only support them, we'll support that wider team around them. Because it's not just communicating with the client, it's with everybody. So if everybody's on the same page, then it always works better. I think also that people get on with people, and we are genuine people first and foremost. I've always said to people when it comes to commercial property matters, don't be scared. I'm a real person.
I'm a real person on the screen.
Yes, exactly. You may be experts, but everyone's approachable. I know everybody in the team, in the firm, we're all approachable. If somebody's not available, somebody else will always pick it up.
And I suppose on the phone, it's not just like, AMG are on the phone. It's, it's Gwen from AMG. Yeah. Hi, Gwen. Yeah.
Yes, and everyone's got our direct numbers. It's not a case of, you hide behind reception. It's not the old days where you have to go through a secretary or a letter be sent out. It's a case of those messages come straight through, directly through. And it doesn't... and it doesn't matter whether you're an individual, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, you will be treated exactly the same and get the exact same level of service.
Great. And I think that is so important, isn't it? Because I think so many people hiring a solicitor, especially when it's like commercial property, whether you are a business or an individual, you're like, oh God, is this going to be drawn out? Is this going to be difficult? And I think by the sounds of it, it sounds like you make it as simple as possible.
Well, we try to. I say to people, you pass your stress on to me, and it's my job to stress for you.
Oh, perfect.
I will be the swan. You go and run your business. Because at the end of the day, I can't run their businesses. They run the business, and that's what they're excellent at.
They need to go and be doing that.
Yes, my job is to make sure that the legality of whatever they're running that business from is watertight and is properly funded and is safe for them so that they can go and grow. And that's what we want. It doesn't matter whether they start as one person in a corner office or in the bedroom, in the kitchen, whatever.
And then progress forward.
Exactly. We just want them to get the right advice so that they can do that. And they can come back, clients do.
And they do, I bet. Yeah.
They do. It's lovely because, say, I am part of the family with a lot of them. And it's because you've built that trust. And it's the trust in you as an individual as well as you as an expert.
Brilliant.